Good evening, fellow YouTubers. Let me turn the volume down on this phone try to do it without turning off the recording. Um, as you can see, this is all pretty much done for. I've been going to take it out, but I've had some physical issues for the last few days that prevents me from doing it. This weekend when my son's not at work, I'm going to get him to take it out. Well, I don't know now. I'm in a conundrum. As you can see, there's a lot of new blossoms coming on the peas. A lot of new blossoms. If I go down in here close, you can see them coming all over the bottom parts of the plant, up in the medium and up in the top. And here comes my old girls. If you want to get into the chickens, don't buy these black copper Marans if you live in the southern United States. Every day here now in July and August, it gets almost 100 degrees Fahrenheit with a 80-something% humidity, which makes these girls suffer. I keep cold water out here in several places. I even come and put ice in their water in the daytime. They haven't stopped laying, but they've slowed down their laying, and I don't blame them. I'm letting them free range again. I kept them in prison for several days for their escape, and I think it taught them a lesson because they've pretty much stayed where they're supposed to in this backyard. Plus, well, they're dumb as a box of rocks. About the dumbest chickens I ever saw. I had a little space over there where they could actually maneuver around the fencing, and they did. All of them found their way back except one. I want to say it's this one closest to me here. The biggest chicken, yeah, had found her way in, and Gertrude over there had found her way in. Gertrude thinks she's a rooster. She don't crow, but she clucks to the other hens like a rooster would. Now in the daytime, when it's so hot, they hassle like a dog. They've got all kind of shade back here, and they do stay in the shade, but they're extremely hot. And other than taking them in the house and air conditioning, there's not much else I can do for them except provide them plenty of fresh, cold, clean water, which I'm doing. My backyard's beginning to look like a junkyard. I need to pick up all this stuff that we've moved around out here with building and moving chickens and cutting wood, and that used to be a water. Well, I was waiting for some to come that I ordered online. Now these Isa Browns or Isa Browns, I pronounce them Isa. I've heard other people pronounce them Isa. They don't suffer at all in the heat. Well, they're not as fat and big as these chickens, and they never will be that big. I think the hens get up to 5 pounds and the roosters up to a little over 6 at maturity. But no, they haven't suffered at all, and they don't mind the heat, not at all. As a matter of fact, they'll all cluster together over there like these chicks you see over there. They'll lay around in a cluster, and if they were hot, they wouldn't do that. They'd avoid being close to each other because of the body heat. I can't let these out yet because I need them to know to come in at roost time and all this, so I'm going to let them become mature birds before I start letting them forage. Free range, whatever you want to call it. I picked up that tarp to actually put it over this end of the building because the sun sets in the evenings on this end, and this end of their pen has quite a bit of sun on it, so it was covered with fire ants. And if you don't live in the southern United States, you probably have never been stung by a fire ant, but it is very, very painful. I dropped it and it's still laying there. I did drag it away from where the fire ant bed was, so since they've left it, maybe tomorrow I'll be able to fold it and put it away or cover that end of their pen. I don't want to cover it completely because that end don't slant and the water don't run off. If you've looked at any of the earlier videos, the tarp was on the right hand side as I'm looking at it, and I had to move it over to the left because the right didn't have enough slant and it was puddling water. It was holding water on the tarp. I had to actually cut holes in it so the water would run through. And I'm going to make this very short. Everything's done as far as the garden except the sweet peppers, the sweet potatoes, which I'll be taking out probably the end of this month or the first couple of weeks of August, because if any of you remember, I put a lot of my sweet potatoes in March because it was so warm here. We had no freezes anticipated, so I went ahead and had some sprouts that I'd sprouted from grocery store sweet potatoes. I couldn't tell you what they were. They looked like Beauregards, but that don't mean they are. They were delicious, whatever they were. That's the reason I sprouted them. And so I'll be taking those out, and we've harvested all the fruit. I went to my brother's and got a lot of pears and been canning pears. I haven't made preserves yet. I was canning pear pie filling. If you've never had pear pie filling and you like apple pie, you'll love pear pie. It is delicious. Well, like I said, I'm going to make this short, and I hope everybody's having a good week and not as hot as we're having. Had a neighbor pass away that lives just up the street from me yesterday morning, early. They discovered him dead. I don't yet know what killed him, but I'm going to see if I can make some food or see if they're accepting food, because that's something we do in the South. If you have a neighbor or friend or even someone from your church that loses a loved one, you feed them. You take food to their house so they don't have to worry about preparing it for themselves. All they have to worry about is making the funeral arrangements and things like that. My heart goes out to them because, there's so many people now that's sick with that COVID. He didn't die from COVID. I suspect it was probably a heart attack. I don't know if he was a heavy smoker, but the few times that I really paid attention to him when he was outside, he had a really, really bad cough. And I think that probably attributed to whatever happened to him. Anyway, but we've been living here 7 years, and I've heard him coughing that whole 7 years when he was outside. So wasn't a new thing for him. I won't do corn here again because the corn is really good, and but the cobs just never really get big. They filled out, but they didn't fill out all the way to the top. I mean, as far as they should have. So either I didn't know what I was doing, which is a good indication that I didn't know what I was doing. I have grown corn before. I'm joking, but undoubtedly I didn't do something right. I know corn requires a lot of ammonium nitrate, and I didn't give mine a lot of ammonium nitrate because I would have had to bought a 50-pound bag of it, and it's very expensive. And it would have sat in that shed or the porch or somewhere for years because I wouldn't have used that much ammonium nitrate. It would have took me, I probably wouldn't even live long enough to use up a 50-pound bag of ammonium nitrate. I'm going to be 70 in January. And I'm going to, her sour oranges that made a bumper crop last year that you can't eat. My neighbor across the road, she's my friend as well. Last year her trees were just loaded, but the oranges were so tart, so sour, you couldn't eat them. I'm going to use them to make some marmalade, and I'm going to mix them with some of my satsumas because they're very sweet, and I believe that'll make some good marmalade. Well, I hope and pray all of you have a good week. I know I will never be famous on YouTube, and I will never have probably hundreds of thousands of followers like some YouTubers do. But I do this because if I can help somebody else with my failures and my successes. Before I go though, I'd love you to check out a friend of mine in the UK's channel. It's called Steve's Growing Space, and he does the conventional gardening, container gardening, and now he's into hydroponics. And his hydroponics are amazing. I mean, I've been amazed by his successes in that, and it's got me very interested in trying it myself. But he's in a totally different climate than me, and if I have my aquaponics outside in this summer heat, I don't care what I had them in to protect them from any light. I'm sure that probably the water would heat up for one, and it will grow bacteria that would probably kill off the plant. Because one day of rainwater sitting in a container here, and it's got all kind of stuff growing in it just one day. In the summer now, could grow it in the late fall and early spring, and I'm certainly thinking about giving it a shot. But if you can, go check out Steve's Growing Space. You won't be disappointed. He puts out a lot of videos with, well, not a lot. He doesn't video every day. He puts out videos with good content, informational content, and I'm sure you would enjoy it. And he's a very nice person. Thank you. Have a great week, what's left of it. Bye-bye.